Welcome to Golden Cap episode 4, brought to you by myself and Dolphin. How have you
Hello.
been? Have you been this week, Dolphin?
Not too bad. Been watching some good games earlier this week. We're gonna go into the details of that, but how have you been?
Good. Just drove back from home, but ready for ready for this next week and really covering what happened. And unless you got anything else to say, I think we should jump in. There's one bit of news that has happened. Ash of Corsia has been banned for 3 weeks, so either a replacement will be found or those matches won't be seen for a little bit. So
Yeah,
not confirmed yet.
hopefully they don't just delay all their matches until November. Hopefully they can get a sub or something. But
That'd be
yeah,
crazy though. Just like 1 week of a match each day,
yeah. I
double
mean,
headers.
that'd be fun. But yep, I think that's it for news. But other than that, I think we can get into the match reviews from this past week. Starting with Furyu Tech versus Global Clan. Furyu, of course, taking a 5-0 against them on Sunshine.
Yeah, nothing to really see there. It was 18-minute 5-0, kind of expected. Best team in the invite versus one of the bottom two teams, I think you could say confidently. But yeah, they did their thing, and they won like you'd expect, at least.
Yeah, I think Global Clan is 5-0 right now in invite, or 0-5 actually.
Okay, I was like 5-0.
Yeah, but Furyu is currently 6-1. I mean, top team versus probably the bottom team. I mean, went as expected. So I think we can just ditch into the next one. Global Clan versus Corsia. It was a 5-1 for Corsia on Sunshine. Did you watch it, or do you have any idea of how this might have gone?
I think I saw some of it. Unless I'm thinking about a different game. Did they play another game on Sunday? No. Okay, so this was the game I sort of watched, but
Okay.
a lot of it was. Oh no, this is a thing that's been a theme with these the Shamu teams is, like, even when they start getting it going, I say it all the time. They start getting it going, full wipe, and it's just all over. And there were a couple times they were in the game, like you can see they won 3 mids, but one round. So they win the mid, they get something going, boom, they get wiped, they lose the round. This was a 24-minute 5-1, which is kind of weird. Pretty short for a semi back and forth game, but yeah, I think there's not much to really say about this game. I think Chucky, from the stats, had a decent game. No one else really had a really standout game besides maybe Sky, who had the same deaths as Zilly, even though they lost. But yeah, overall, pretty. I don't know. Corsia, even though they don't win mints a lot of the time, they do end up beating these lower teams. Even though like they haven't looked great in a lot of these games on mids, at least.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's just like one team is better at the other than mid fights, but it seems like this is just kind of a mirror of Furyu versus Global Clan, except for the one round that they won. So it's not first place versus last place; it's like second place versus last place. Kind of disappointing in terms of time and closeness. But next match is a lot closer. Witness Gaming versus Morning Light. I think we casted that one. That was on Sunshine, yeah. So that match was very back and forth, and actually, Morning Light, we expected them to do a lot better, I think, because they were definitely the team that excelled in 5CP, but it seems like Witness Gaming, especially Sin Karma and Yosh, kind of helped their team win those 3 rounds. Honestly, from watching this game, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch this game, but looking at it, yeah, I'm surprised. This would be a cool game to look back at, but just once
Yeah.
again, I see one stat line. Actually, I see 2 that really pop out of the page, and they're not good stats.
Oh, what are they?
Like Sandblast Inside, good stats, but Walrex, 6 and 26, 180 DPM, 253 DTM. And then Virgil, 13 deaths to Azen's 4. I don't know the context of those deaths, but still, it being that close of a game and having those 2 big stat lines popping out, even though, and especially because nobody really had a bad game on Morning Light, which is pretty surprising. They got 3 rounds, and Actually, this is a 26-minute 5-3, which is crazy.
Let's see. One, two, three, four of the rounds were sub 2 minutes. And that just, of course, those rounds, the person who won mid won the round. One of them had a total of six kills in one round for both teams. So it just seems like, you win mid, you kind of just roll into last. I wouldn't expect that coming from Morning Light. Also, I have to mention that Cuckoo Kachu was ringing because Rio was MIA. But I don't think that if Rio... I don't think it really made a difference in the end if Rio had shown up. Two of the soldiers, we both kind of placed it on the bottom of our tier list. So I don't think it really affected it that much. He did make some good plays, but overall... Morning Light just kind of dominated, but those, you kind of have to ask yourself what happened with those sub 2 minute rounds where they just fell apart,
Yeah. I don't know. You could potentially argue that maybe they would have won if they had their normal soldier, because maybe they're a super mid oriented double bomb team, but which I think I've seen a couple times. But yeah, I don't know. Another thing is, look at 3 drops from Virgil, and I don't know, one stat you can look at a lot of times is, it's not 100%, but 5 med picks from your combo scout usually means you're just pushing those Uber ads. You have those post Ubers, like 2 deaths after charge. And I'm assuming Sandblast Ubered in, killed the med with the Uber. Because usually combo scout only kills meds when they Uber, unless it's like super scrappy. But yeah, from what this is looking like, it was a lot of that, they had more Ubers. Virtual had 3 drops, which probably were pretty important. And Smiles, once again, on that combo scout again. And Yosh, doing his thing. But overall, the Psy Sandblast, just wrecking ball. That is this team right now. And they have caught fire, and they're keeping it going.
Yeah, so I think Alpha actually dropped the med twice as scout. As you can see, Virgil died to the scout 8 times. And actually, after this game, I think Sandblast asked for his stats because he was feeling very proud, and he wanted his stats from the entire season so far. And looking at it, him and Guy are probably, I think, the best combo in Invite right now.
Better than Banny Habib?
I think so. I mean, you can probably separate Banny and Habib, and they do pretty well, but I think Psy and Sandblast are the new couple. I ship them.
The new power couple?
Yeah.
All right.
So, anything else you want to say about this match?
2 drops as scout that's strange. No respect, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think everyone at Morning Light played pretty good, especially the combo, like we were saying, Psy, Sandblast, Ace and 4 deaths. That's really good, because there's been a couple games we've seen him struggle a little bit. Like that first game was definitely a struggle, and he's been getting better and better over time, which expected. He's a vet, playing not a map he doesn't know, stuff like that. And yeah, I think this is a good showing for both teams. Maybe not as good as you'd like for Morning Light, but given it was such a back and forth game, I think you can maybe shrug off a couple of these rounds that were traded.
Yeah, I think if Virgil wasn't as overextended and caught out, and if Rio was there, they could have won. I could have seen the upset, but we'll just have to wait until next time for them to improve and get Rio back, hopefully.
Yeah, especially how playoffs are gonna end up rounding out, since all the the triangle, the teams kind of trading maps. It kind of makes it really impossible to make playoffs unless they Witness Gaming needed to win this game to make, because it's gonna be so hard. Because like I've said, Corsia took 2 maps off Wonderball. Wonderball took a map off of Morning Light. Morning Light took a map off Corsia, and that's just making it harder and harder. Where instead of usually it's the hierarchy of 1 beats 2, 2 beats 3, 3 beats 4. So maybe you can jump over the 4th seed by getting 1 or 2 upsets. But since they're trading, it's really, really hard. Really hard.
Yeah. So I think the competition for playoffs is definitely going to be tight this season, and every win that you get, you can't really shrug it off. You have to get as much as you can, especially Witness Gaming with the 3 rounds. I feel like that might make a difference, all these rounds adding up over time. Do they still rank it by rounds or is it by wins?
It's by wins, then round win percentage, I think,
Okay.
and then head to head or something, and then maybe points. But
Okay.
it's something like that. Wins are definitely first now. For the
Okay.
most part.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, but if that's all you have to say about that one, we can talk about the next close one, Wonderwall versus Corsia, where Corsia took Wonderwall 4-2 on Clear Cut, and we spectated this match. Were you the one that casted this one?
I was part of the cast for this one. This one was
Okay.
it was a good game, and from what I've heard, talking to someone, this is apparently Sam's absolute best map. And looking at the stats, I kind of gotta agree. I think the first match, great stats. This one, losing effort, 390 DPM, 20 and 10.
Mm-hmm. That
Kind of crazy.
he
This
did
is a
really
good demo
well.
map.
It is, and you can see Alex, just being below Sam in terms of DPM.
Also, the fall off in stats after those two, maybe except Brand Slam, but the damage falls off hard after the demo.
It does, yeah, like a 50 difference and then another 50 difference. Brand Slam, going 26-12, 320 DPM. Yite also did really powerful, and the soldiers this game weren't doing it too well. They're all at the bottom apart from Howard in terms of damage, and they're all at the top in terms of deaths. They just didn't have a good game. It didn't seem like they reached their full potential, because apparently Clear Cut is supposed to be really good for soldiers. It's very easy to jump behind, flank them. You can go through house. There's so many ways that you can pinch teams off, but it didn't seem like it was really happening, especially on who were you reviewing? Yeah, Wonderwall. Their soldier combo of Rakuso and Cactus weren't really reaching their potential. I don't think Rakuso jumped behind enough, because I looked and Trip, Ash, they kind of jumped just perfectly, and that's the reason why they won. But I don't think the Wonderwall soldiers really did their part, and that's why I think they lost.
All right, so what I don't know. I think it's a good soldier map, but it's not a good stats soldier map, just because you can get behind and get back in like pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, since it's so massive and open, people are gonna surf away. There's scouts always waiting, and a lot of times it's hard to really recontest. And a lot of times, if you want to push, one of your soldiers is gonna have to die to just jump on the demo, just to like get them off the point a little bit. So I don't know. I think the main thing I saw from this match is just what I'm learning is the more aggressive team on this map wins almost every time. Because in the match that Wonderwall had against Morning Light, Morning Light didn't have any room to breathe. There was a lot of double bombs, constantly fighting while they were coming into the fight. They get up the slope and to their side of mid and just double bomb, instantly aggro. Give space for Howard to work, which really it flipped the script, because then Trip and Ash did the same thing. A lot of aggression, get someone behind, send someone back in, and then Yite gets a lot of room to work. 35 and 17 off of those two soldiers, just constantly bombing, putting pressure out, and just damage and space everywhere. And I don't know, it felt like they played a lot more scared. Maybe it's like a team, like they have a bit more respect for Corsi, and I doubt there's more scared, but it just didn't look how they looked and what their winning formula was. And yeah, overall, a lot of this game, it just felt like Corsia, like they just were winning a lot of the dry even fights. But like we saw in the first half, I think Loga had one death, and they lost that last round to an absolute blunder. They were Ubered on point, and then the clock expired, and they lost while they were standing on it Ubered, which if they win that round, maybe it turns this entirely around, because then it's only 3-3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be 3-3 instead of 4-2, and it's anyone's game at that point. Maybe you're going to be a bit frustrated about that, but with how the seeding is working right now, I think Wonderwall should be one of the favorites to make playoffs, and later on in the playoffs, that won't happen, at least then. And I think this is a good showing. I think they'd be pretty confident if they play their game that this should be a decent map. I don't know if I'd be confident in picking it straight up, but I don't think it's a terrible showing, and I think Corsia definitely, they did show that they can play on a map like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it all for me, but I think as long as you don't ban all COD maps like a certain team, I think that if you pick this map, I think upsets are kind of in order. You know, what are you thinking? Like, I feel like teams don't really perform their usual on this map because I expected more out of Cactus. Although looking back, each team did a really good job forcing. Because one criticism of this map is if you have Uber and you have point, all you have to do is put your medic in that little shed, and you basically win. But it seemed like every time that the teams jumped in and bombed, they got a force, and then it was just back and forth every single round.
Yeah, I think the shed being the unstoppable barricade is kind of it's being exaggerated now because I think teams are getting more used to it and they know how to break it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the same thing with Viaduct. It's like Viaduct, if you really want, you can sit your med in the house, and it's it's probably harder to get a force. The only difference is the point on clear cut is right next to where you're bunkering down compared to Viaduct. You kind of got to be far back and disconnected where they can bait the point a lot easier. But how a lot of teams are handling it now is they kill the guys not in the shed,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually if they get enough damage and space, they can either A, bait the point and force the Uber, or just get someone in the shed, just jump a soldier straight in, pass stickies, or at least get dead on, and then everyone else comes in and they try and get a force. But a lot of times, I think, yeah, as time passes, the shed's going to be less and less unpenetrable. So I don't think it'll be as broken as people say.
Yeah, it definitely seems like this season over last, there were a lot more, I would say, methods to break the holds. People this season, I see a lot of demos jumping behind, like going valley into that entrance for the shed, and then both soldiers, one jumping in to bait out the scout clips, and then another soldier jumping in to do like a skip bomb and then shoot the medic in the shack. So
Hear
it's
me out.
okay.
Super meta. Quickie bomb the point door and then send people through that door. Because usually there's only a demo really sticking it, maybe a soldier.
Yeah.
If you just quickie bomb delete all the stickies, you get in clean, get a force, use those unlocks. But yeah, one thing I just remembered is the second half of this match. I don't know if you remember, but a lot of I forget how many deaths Zilly had. I think it's 6 maybe in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And they were way more proactive with all their Ubers. They caught Logai out in really, really crucial times. Like, where's I have no clue. I don't think that there's a staffus, but it felt like there was a lot of times where just barely, it was a close round, and then just they Uber in or they bomb in and they just catch the med just barely. Maybe it's a little bit of new map stuff they didn't expect it. And sometimes you can fly over the house without being seen, and then the med's kind of just screwed in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. So looking at the first round, Logai only died once. Zilly died 5 times. Second half, Zilly died 4. Logai actually died more with 5. Yeah. So kind of what you said, but anything else on this one, or should we go to Froyo versus Witness?
No, just what I'm learning, like I said, more aggressive team wins on this map. If you just don't let the other team set up and get a good push,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, usually you end up pretty good because they got to make the harder decisions.
Yeah, I still think the meta on this map is evolving, so I think we might see different plays come out during playoffs, but it's too early for that. But anything else you want to say?
Nah, I think that's it
Okay.
for this match.
So the next match, Froyo versus Witness Gaming. It's a 4-0 for Froyo, which was on Bagel of all maps, actually. Let me see if I can pull up the pick bands for that, actually.
I know Froyo picked it, so
Did they?
yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Getting some scrim time on this map. Honestly, I don't know. This is a good soldier map. Like, compared to Clear Cut, that's a good soldier map to make, like, have impact, but this is a good soldier stat map.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the game is in those sheds, and as like a demo med, something like that, you're just in a pit the entire game, because the point's like up here, and then it drops off the valley, and that's all of the floor below the point. And there's a lot of room to try and get behind, jump in, and get a really good bomb off because it's not nearly as open and scout centric as a map like Clear Cut, because there's not much high ground really to play on scout that's you're gonna have constant impact and pressure. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good soldier map. I think it's interesting, but looking at the stats, pretty dominant from Froyo here, and like I said, the soldiers, Jay, insane game, 473 DPM, 35 and 18.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like he got a lot of the med picks and then just kind of overtook.
Did have that panic attack as well.
Did he have a panic attack?
I think it's honestly not terrible on this map if you're just like lurking houses, and then you only need to do one bomb to really get into places, so
yeah,
it's not terrible.
And I actually want to point out that Skis actually had less Ubers than Virgil.
I'm assuming it's a lot of Skis just not having to pop.
Is it?
Yeah, because he had 9 deaths.
Okay.
16.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of times Skis just didn't get forced when the other team either pushed in, Virgil popped in, they just couldn't get a counter Uber. So I'm assuming it's a lot of that. 28 assists from your medic is kind of crazy.
It is.
I'm just looking at that.
It means he's basically just healing the people, like actually fighting. So I'm gonna guess that he didn't play as passive as most medics would, because most medics would stand on that concrete area, and then they wouldn't even like see any of the enemy because it's so hard to see over the point. That's why it's such a bad like sniper map. So I'm guessing that he was like in the action a lot more, and yeah, Furry Tech just kind of dominated. Although I have to shout out to Sim Karma. If you looked at his stat line, it doesn't seem like it was a 4-0. 14 to 15, 360 DPM, not doing too shabby himself. Actually outdamaging Habib somehow, but not outfragging him, of course. But everybody else on the team, I don't think it doesn't seem like a 4-0. It seems maybe like a 4-1 or so. But I although they lost 4-0, I think they still did pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's awkward for demo because you know how Bagel said there's a giant point in the middle. Usually your demo's playing like behind there and you can't see anything. So a lot of times it's just hard to get a lot of damage out, a lot of impact. Well, Scout, same thing. And like I said, a lot of the fights are just trying to hold your house or push their house, stuff like that. And like you see here, just stats you don't usually expect is the soldiers and the flank scout from Froyo really kind of taking this game over, which really just signifies they were probably just dominating the other team's house with Walrex not having the best game, and Rio as well. Just it was kind of rough, understandable against Froyo on a weird map that they didn't play because this was invite only last season and is invite only this season, so they probably didn't have that much play time on this to get things figured out.
And then also I want to point out Jay actually received the most heals on Furry Tech, but I think I thought Jay was Romer for some reason, but yeah, I mean, just kind of like a dominant game, you know. Not much to say from it on my behalf, but I don't think that you can really count out Witness Gaming on these non-traditional maps. And actually looking at the pick bans, Furry Tech banned maps that I wouldn't expect them to. They banned Snakewater, Process, Metalworks, all traditional maps that are really popular. I'm not sure if they were just like forcing, they wanted like, because they still had Clear Cut.
I think probably the mindset behind this match is we're probably going to win.
Might as well
play one of these strange maps where we're going to have to force teams to scrim us. Because if they just asked, hey, let's go scrim some Bagel, people would be like, you don't have a match on it. Why would we ever play Bagel? But since they have a match on, you kind of got to play their map. Otherwise, you're kind of scum. So I'm assuming they just wanted to make sure they're comfortable on these maps in a match format and get that time on them.
Yeah, and remembering last season, Ascent had like one misplay away from beating Furry Tech on Bagel. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of, use that excuse to play non-traditional maps and make sure that a better team such as Corsia or even Morning Light, if they somehow get as good on King of the Hill as they are on 5CP. So that's what I think they were thinking coming into this week. But yeah, we'll see if that actually improves anything in the playoffs. So that's it for this week in terms of matches. Anything else to say about Froyotech versus Witness?
Not much. I think, like I said earlier, I think there's 3 teams that are willing to play Koth this season and will probably make a difference, if not just in the regular season, in the playoffs. Froyo, Wonderwall, I think Witness Gaming would all be down to play Koth, because I don't think the other teams are really have Koth like players where they love it, or overall they just don't like the map. So if you're one of those teams that don't like it, you kind of gotta, like I said earlier in the other episodes, you gotta choose at least one map that you're just not gonna play, because you have to be able to play a couple of the maps. At least in playoffs, you only get one ban. The other team gets to pick, so you kind of gotta decide which map we're just not gonna play because we're just not good at, or we just don't like fundamentally.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think also, teams aren't going to be afraid to pick non-traditional maps. Like, I think Witness, they might have picked Bagel if they were in control of this pick ban process. So I mean, I don't think it only benefited Furyo. I think it might, also give Witness that critical practice that they may need to actually, make playoffs and like stay in playoffs against teams such as Morning Light, Corsia, if they can even like get Bagel against them. So I think both teams might actually come out better from this match, and I think it's actually wise to kind of play those against, even if it's a certain loss or certain win. I think that's a 5,000 IQ thing to happen, but we'll see what teams do for the rest of the season.
All right, well, I think that, like you said, all we got for the recaps. Now we have the Preds, and first game, none of these have maps that are guaranteed, and I don't know if the dates are guaranteed on any of these. Besides, is Morning Light Wonderwall guaranteed in quotes? How it is?
Yes, Morning Light versus Wonderwall was confirmed. That they did the reschedule request.
Excited for that game. I think that's safe to say the match of the week. I think there's 2 safe to say matches of the week, but we'll get into it. First match we got here, Witness Gaming versus Global Clan, and it's a rematch from it was week 1 or 2, one of those. I think maybe week 1, where Witness Gaming really, they showed they're no slouches really. And they won, I think,
3-1 against 3-1? Global Clan, week 1B on process.
Okay, I knew the map. And now Witness Gaming switching the roles up a little bit, which it's going to let Yosh kind of work a bit more, but maybe a bit more of a question mark on the combo scout. But I think one thing that it does do is it spreads the lack of experience that I think the flank had. I don't know entirely. I just haven't seen Smiles really play, and I don't know if you'd really want to stack your flank with 2 unexperienced players. But Yosh has a bunch of experience. He'll know what's up. He'll know what to do a lot of times, and as long as the calling's good, I think Smiles should be fine, as long as you can keep everything in front of you, where it's a lot of just making sure your med stays alive. Maybe Rio or Sin Carmen takes the initiative, maybe let your flank work, and you got to decide how your identity, because a lot of teams like Morning Light feels to me more like, at least how the season's going, it's going to be a lot of combo first, while other teams where your flank's doing the work, where they're pulling people back, they're getting in first. But you got to decide which one you want to be.
Yeah. So coming into this match, Witness does have their bans in Goalie Wash, Clearcut, and Snake Water. I think I guess they weren't very confident on Bagel, because I feel like they would choose. They wouldn't ban non-traditional Koth if they didn't feel that they could beat them on them. But coming into this, I think Witness Gaming, I feel like they will have an advantage in this match, but I don't think they're going to win. I think Global Clan might take it, if it's 5 CP, I'm going to say 4-2. in the beginning, they were pretty close, 3-1. There's like a lot of stalemates because nobody reached those 5 control points. But I think they have a better chance of beating Global Clan this week than they did before. It was the first match that they ever played, and because this team is how much of this team is original from last season? Do you know?
Which team?
Uh, Witness.
Witness, I think, is a completely new team. Maybe there's one or two people that play together, but from what I know, because Sin Karma played on a different team, Sin Karma and Rio played together on a different team, and I don't know about the rest. Yosh played Invite, and I think I don't remember. I didn't watch Div 1 that much, but I think this is a completely fresh team besides maybe a couple pairs or trios.
Mm-hmm. So I think they're a lot, since they don't have as much experience with each other as I think Global Clan might. I think they're gonna do a lot better than they did in the very first. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 4-1 for Witness. That's what I'm saying.
I know. Just looking at this pick ban, I love thinking about the pick ban. Just if you're Witness Gaming, you're picking the map. I think the ideal thing you do is you leave in all the weird maps, as many weird maps as possible, so Global Clan doesn't actually get a ban. Maybe a more traditional map they're just not good at. So if you're Witness Game, you ban Gully. I know Sin Karma doesn't like Gully. Clear Cut, I'm kind of surprised on that one in Snakewater. Maybe you ban just like, I don't know, if you don't like Metaworks, ban Metaworks. And then the other team kind of has to be like, do we really want to let Villa, Viaduct, Clear Cut, and Bagel, or one of those get through? And then you kind of get to have your choice at maybe the rest of the 5 CPs that are left and the co-op maps that are in. So, whatever. But, I don't know. I think Witness Gaming, I think they're definitely the favorites in this game. I don't think Global Clan can't win it. It's just, I think Witness Gaming are a better team, where maybe Global Clan have better individuals. And depending on what map they get to and how comfortable people are on it, and how good maybe these teams have improved, where I think Witness Gaming maybe improved a bit, but Global Clan definitely has looked good in a couple matches. But I think it's gonna be a slow and close game. I think I'm gonna say 3-2 to Witness Gaming.
Okay, so I think we can both agree that it might be a repeat of their first match together. It was process only 4 total rounds. I guess we don't think that it's gonna really change. But yeah, I think your prediction is just as valid. You make some good points. And is there anything else you have thoughts about on this matchup, this rematch?
I think it's gonna have to be Ed really taking over the game and pushing the flank, but the Ed Yosh matchup would be really interesting to watch, and with the soldiers of Global Clan looking pretty well coordinated, they're doing their own thing on that goalie game, which is really all I got to reference. But I think they're looking improved from before, where I think they both had pretty bad games in their first match versus Witness Gaming. And yeah, I think Ed's definitely gonna have to be the guy in this match.
I think Sin Karma, he's gonna make his debut on this match, I think. Yeah, just looking at the rosters, I'm gonna guess that Sin Karma and then the soldier combo on Global Clan might be the MVPs for the people to watch. But like you said, the sum of its parts isn't as high as, or isn't as low as the team may perform together. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say for this match. If we're done with that, we can go on to the next matchup, which is Corsa versus Froyotech. We don't know when this is going to happen. As you might remember, the last matchup between these two teams never did happen, and it was actually a forfeit from Corsia to Froyotech, because they like rescheduled it, I think, like 1 or 2 times, but it just never ended up happening. And I know a lot of people are waiting for this matchup to happen because it's the supposed first versus second. And let me just give us your thoughts while I look up if they have any ban or picks right now.
Well, with Ash being banned for 3 weeks, this match may be delayed for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, no picks are banned so far, so I'm gonna guess that Corsia do want their best roster. So we'll see if they just delay until November. Although the latest rescheduled date is listed as the 20th, which I don't think any teams really follow that.
I think if you're an invite, you can message an admin and they can always change it.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want forfeit wins in a league, normally at least. But yeah, so there's 8 weeks in the season. They're in week 4, so supposedly by week 7 or 8, I don't know exactly, they're kind of gonna have to play all their remaining matches, which would be like a fun March Madness little thing where they're just every night doubleheader, maybe a single match every night. And that'd be kind of crazy.
We have Alex and Zillion chat. They're just gonna 5 days of double headers. I don't feel like that's wise though. I feel like you're gonna do worse.
I feel like that's sick though. That's so sick.
For who? The viewer or the people?
Hell yeah.
Playing or the people producing that?
Oh, the people playing are in hell, but like a viewer, that'd be crazy. You get. Let me see. So good matchups that are left. Corsia Morning Light. Corsia Wonderwall. Corsia Morning Light again. And that's those 3 matchups you're gonna see in 1 week potentially.
Yeah, 2 Froyos, 2 Morning Lights. God damn.
Yeah.
If you
a couple global clans, but if they're off one night, they may be screwed.
Yeah, I mean,
they just play against Global Clan and Witness Gaming and catch 2 L's back to back, having a bad night,
Yeah, and I think over time, if you take these like weeks off, you're not going to do as well as if you play consistently week over week. You have time to kind of, analyze your matches, kind of figure out what went wrong, learn about other teams, and have the upper hand in that way. But if you it's like delaying schoolwork until the very last night. You can't learn what you need to learn in those like 2 hours that you're going to play 10 matches. I feel like it's just going to overwhelm them as a team, and if they get tilted one night, that's going to be like 4 matches in that one night that they stay tilted and do worse than they would if they play over the next month,
Yeah, so we have no clue when these matches are being played. So.
But if it does happen, what's your prediction? If it did happen.
5-2. I'll say 5-2.
For who?
For you.
Okay. I'm gonna say that Froyo's probably gonna win it just because I think Corsa, if they do delay, they're gonna perform a lot worse. If they don't, they're still gonna play not as well without Ash. So I'm gonna just say Froyo. I'm gonna say Froyo 5-1. I don't want them to win 5-1. I want it to be a lot closer, but I think it's just a fact that Corsia kind of, I don't know, shot their own foot, and we'll see if they just amputate their leg by delaying it a month, But that's what I'm predicting.
Yeah, well, if that's all we got for that one, this match of the week, a rematch, Wonderwall really opened the season a punch to the mouth. Maybe Morning Light was a bit confident, and then just because I feel like Psy's pretty decent. I feel like this is probably the best Koth map for Psy. It just feels like a him type of Koth map. You keep everything at arm's length. You kind of a lot of the game is spent standing near the point and just shooting the shed, shooting the point. A lot of passive spamming, but yeah, just they got absolutely dominated. The other team was just rolling them over. But now, like that's been said, is Morning Light has banned every Koth map, which I don't know how confident Wonderwall is. They could just take it to Villa.
Yeah, they could.
I don't know how many times this Morning Light team has even played Villa. I think Soapy's probably played it a couple times just because he was in Div 1 and it was weekly, so you had to play it. But I don't know. I feel like this may be. I'm really excited to see if Wonderball's just feeling it.
Hmm.
Pick Villa, because that is the only matches I've seen on that map have an absolute steamrolls. Froyo 5-0ing in the the upper bracket final, I think. But yeah, that was. This is going to be very, very interesting. This pick band matchup will be interesting every week, and I think Morning Light is really coming to their own. You know, a couple players really showing out. Like Soapy had a couple good games, like we said. Psy and Sandblast looking great as ever. Also, Aizen looking improved every game. Alpha, doing his thing. Like you said, 2 drops. Dingo, I think, playing his role great. He's not gonna have the stats, I don't think, on this team because he's kind of gotta do the dirty work a bit of the time. But I think they're definitely looking great in Wonderwall. I don't know if they've been looking better than they did at the beginning, but I think they've been pretty consistent looking,
Yeah.
and I think they're gonna have their play their game if they want to really try and win this next matchup.
Yeah, and like you said with Villa, I would be as Wonderwall, I would be hesitant to play them because we all know that Morning Light is a much better 5 CP team. That's kind of what they're known for, and especially after them banning all Koth maps. I'm not sure if you would want to wager trying to beat a 5 CP map on a 5 CP map that nobody really knows and nobody has enough practice on. If I were them, I would just choose a traditional map that they have actual knowledge on. I wouldn't try to
Oh
really.
wait, it is Morning Light's pick. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Wonderwalls for a second. Never mind. We're gonna get something. We're gonna get like metal or something.
Yeah, it's definitely probably going to be traditional. Uh, but I think Wonderwall, it's kind of like a lose-lose situation on this. Maybe if Wonderwall, if there was Koth, I would see Wonderwall winning again. But I think Morning Light, having picked it up again after that loss against Wonderwall on Clear Cut, I think Morning Light's gonna take this 5-2. I
Yeah.
I Wonderwall, they're not a bad team, not in any respect. So I think they're gonna take a few rounds off.
The thing is with like I emphasize a lot how the pick ban for Morning Light's going to be really rough is not even in the fact that the other team picks is now because Wonderball knows they're not going to pick Villa
Hmm.
and they got rid of all the Koths. All Wonderball has to do is if they don't feel confident, like you can ban Metal, you can ban Gully, you can ban Snakewater, you can ban any of those maps that you don't like, and eventually you're probably going to get it to 5 CP maps that you do like. So unless Morning Light's super confident that they're a better team on 5 CP straight up, this is a bit scary because even if they didn't ban the Kots, in no world Wonderwall would ever ban those.
Yeah.
Besides maybe Bagel. But this should be a good match. I think Pick Ban's gonna be the bane of Morning Light's existence for this entire season, unless they figure something out. It's probably gonna end up on something like Sunshine Snake, something like that. But you know what? I'm gonna stick with it. I said Wonderwall for the last match. I think I got let down, but this time I think they're gonna take it. I just don't know how this pick ban's gonna work out for Morning Light, and I think it's an uphill battle any match they have in the regular season, at least with this. So I'm gonna say a 5. I'm gonna say a 5-4. I think
For Wonderball?
Yeah.
Okay. So you think
I think it'll be a nail biter.
it'll be a nail biter back and forth, like 3-minute rounds, stuff like that? Because you think there's going to be 9 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. But I think. Okay.
The best part is neither of us can be wrong about there being only 4 rounds because there was no Koth, at least in that. Maybe it'll time out, but no Koth in the equation at all.
Mm-mm. But I think, I think this is definitely the week of the match, and I wouldn't be surprised if Wonderwall did take it. If they somehow scored out, but I'm not sure about that 5-4. I feel like it would be if they were to win, they would probably be taking it slower. I don't think it'll be like a 5-4. It might be like a 3-2, 3-1. But
I think this is more wishful thinking. I want a 5-4.
yeah, but I
That
think
would
if
be amazing.
yeah, if they were to win, they have to stalemate it because I think Morning Light has the upper hand in fast-paced battle. But yeah, I think that's it for
I don't know. The thing is about Morning Light is they have people who can break stalemates. Like they have
yeah.
Soapy who's had success. They have Alpha who's probably one of the better snipers in the division.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the big strong suit for Wonderwall is that coordination. And if they keep taking dry fights, even though taking dry fights into a team with maybe better individual mechanics, if you can try and make it not you all walking through one door and getting blown up, and try and get a double soldier bomb onto something, get someone behind, stuff like that, I think they can definitely get an advantage there. But I think this, I don't know. I hope it goes to nine rounds, and depending on the map, I think Wonderwall's probably gonna have the mid advantage, especially because like in that goalie match we were watching a week or two ago against Global Clan. Global Clan looked great on those mids,
Mm-hmm.
and that may be a map that gets let through if Wonderwall feels confident enough on it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, although I think the fact that Morning Light, I think they strive off of the momentum. I feel like if you stalemate for a bit and you win the round, I think like mentally it'll be an advantage for Wonderwall, but we'll just have to see this week. Any other last opinions on this map or anything else you want to point out?
Um, let's. Who do you think's gonna have to be like the MVP for either team to win?
For Morning Light, obviously Sandblast and Psy, but I think Soapy and Alpha will have to kind of pick it up uh, for it to definitely be a win. For Wonderwall, I'm gonna say Rikuso has to do a lot better than he performed on Clear Cut for them to be able to break those holds by Morning Light. So I'm going to say Rikuso on Wonderwall and Alpha on Morning Light. Those two are going to have to be the two to kind of step it up. What about you?
I'm gonna go a bit out of the box. I think Aizen is gonna have to be probably one of the better players because at least playing against low guy a lot of times it's a lot of a difference in deaths, and I think he definitely needs to stay in the game, especially on that clear cut game. It was really just a big difference in that, and I think he's gonna have to step it up. Play really well, make sure he doesn't get double bombed, stuff like that. And I think the player on Wonderwall that's got to step it up is Caps. He's going to play against a really experienced combo that's been on fire recently, and he's the combo scout who's got to go up against it. And I think if they're going to win, I think he's going to be a big integral part of their effort.
Yeah, I mean, I think those two players definitely are on upward trend because I think these past couple matches have been really good for Aizen and Cap, definitely improving. And if they continue to do that, I think they can really turn the tide on this match. So yeah, we'll have to look out for those two players. But anything else you want to say about this match of the week?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we can go on to the next one, which is Wonderwall versus Global Clan. Unknown what the map is going to be. Let me see if they have any pick bans yet.
So for this game, I think Wonderwall is definitely the favorites. I think Global Clan,
No pick bans.
depending on the map, which I think they're in the same scenario that Morning Light is, where they're probably gonna have to ban a lot of these newer maps. And who's picking the map? Do you know?
So Wonderwall has 3 bans, Global Clan has 3 bans, and then Wonderwall is picking the final map.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. So unless Wonderwall really doesn't feel confident on Villa, if they really want, they're gonna have one of the weirder maps available to them. So, and I don't think Global Clan is at all comfortable or willing to play a lot of those maps, at least from past experience, where it's going to be really, really rough, and they're probably going to have to, like I said, this is a common theme. You got to bite the bullet. There's 4 maps that you're probably not going to want to play if you just like traditional, slower 5 CP that's just, really familiar. This is kind of what I love about having these new maps is you got to kind of like trade off what you want to like it's like a risk reward. Do we want to really? It's not risk reward, but you gotta kind of play the maps. Get ready on certain ones. I don't know how to say it, but it's gonna be rough for them. And I think that they're gonna have to decide which one of these maps. Have a talk. Which one of the maps do we just absolutely not want to play?
Mm-hmm.
Which ones are we probably more confident and more familiar with? If I'm them, I'd probably leave Viaduct in unless you super don't like it, just because it's the most known out of the weirder maps. And I don't know how confident Wonderball is actually on Viaduct. We've only seen Clear Cut, really.
Yeah, they do have a matchup against Furiotech. Let's see. They're actually going to be playing it tomorrow. Yeah, so for that map, Wonderwall banned Villa, Sunshine, and Bagel. So right there, it doesn't seem like they're confident.
I think that may be more against Froyo, though.
Yeah, but like we mentioned before, it wouldn't be bad for a lower team like Wonderwall to pick a non-traditional map to like gain that experience. Also, I want to point out that Wonderwall has not played a duplicate map yet so far, so I'm going to say that they go all the way to Villa. Hopefully they play Villa. I want them to play Villa. Whereas Global Clan they've last played
a lot of Sunshine, right?
They played each other on Gully Wash. They're going to be playing Morning Light on Gully Wash, and then they have 2 Sunshine. So if I were Wonderwall, I would not play them on Gully Wash, because you went up against them,
Well,
you won 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah, but Global Clan, they have a lot more experience on Gully Wash, so it's probably not going to be a 5-1 again. It'll probably
it's fair enough, but I don't know. Gully's probably the most upset-ish 5 CP like general map, just because mids are so big, and just if you get high bombs, just kill the med, it's just over. Stuff like that instantly can be decided if someone wants to make an aggro play.
Yeah, so I think I hope that they do a non-traditional one. I think Global Clan, they're 0-5, Wonderwall 3-2. They took points off of everybody. They've always taken points out of everybody, and then they got a 4-0 versus Morning Light. I think they're definitely going to win this one. I think, let's go ahead and get to our predictions. I think 5-2 for Wonderwall. I think Global Clan is going to be improving more than Wonderwall would have since their last matchup. What do you think?
What'd you say? 4-2 for
Wonderwall? 5-2 for Wonderwall.
Ooh, that sounds. I think I have to agree. I don't know. I don't think Global Clan's that much of a pushover. It could be a 5-1, but I don't know how much faith I have in for any more than 2 rounds. You know what? I'll say 4-2. I think if Global Clan is in the game, it will be a bit slower than normal games, at least.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from. Why do you think that's going to be slower? It's not going to be like a 9-round map. What do you think?
Well, just how Global Clan really likes to play it. If they have the advantage, they're going to play it really slow, do one-mans, do sniper. Like we saw, there's two games here that went to time that they had. And I don't know how many other games really went to time this season. Like 1-3 versus Witness Gaming, 2-4 versus Morning Light. And from what I've heard and from my experience, a lot of these Shamu teams play a lot slower in these games, where you're going to take more low-risk plays, get the guaranteed things. And if they are in this game, it will be a slower game.
Okay. I see what you're saying. But let's go ahead and move a little bit faster. So for the next match, it's going to be Corsia versus Witness Gaming. There's been no pick bans whatsoever yet. It's due to occur on Thursday. What are you thinking coming into this matchup?
Probably gonna happen for a while. Maybe it will, but the problem I have with Witness Gaming is I just don't think they have enough like individual firepower to really contest with the top teams. Like, I don't think they have enough mechanics really, because I think they have the teamwork, but if you can't really, deathmatch, as well as some of these teams. It's really hard to win a lot of these dry fights, a lot of these like even exchanges. And I think that's going to be a really big theme in a lot of these games they have against Wonderwall. Maybe not as much Wonderwall, but Morning Light, Corsia, Froyo, where it's just they got the DM advantage by a decent margin. Where I don't think there's really any holes in individuals where maybe other teams may have bigger question marks. Where maybe one of these players in the matchup have maybe the advantage in that department. But it's really hard, I think, for Witness Gaming in this matchup.
Yeah, last time they met, it was a 5-0. I assume it was just like a really quick sweep on Snakewater. I don't think Corsia is really going to let up their guard against Witness Gaming, so I'm going to say that Corsia wins 5-0. I think it's going to be another 5-0.
No faith in the boys in Karma. I'll say 5-1.
Okay.
I think they'll win them. They'll mid the last one round.
Okay. Give them a round. Hopefully they can meet our expectations, but I think we need to move on to one of your segments because we are running out of time. But
I don't know how long this will take, though.
Do we just endlessly delay it, or should we do like another 2-hour episode like last week?
I don't know, because I kind of want to watch the finals, and I kind of have to map review something, because I promised. So maybe we save this till the off season.
Okay.
Or not the off season, but like the week between regular season and playoffs.
Okay.
Just because this will probably take half an hour.
Okay, understandable. So we'll cross that off. We're not gonna reveal
we still have to
anything.
do power rankings too.
We do. Yeah.
So yeah,
I think that's the last thing we do.
A good call.
Okay. So
watch that final.
Which final is it?
NBA Finals Game 6.
Okay, let's move it over to power rankings real quick. Whoops, I suck at production, but go ahead and start off at the let's start at the bottom this time.
The bottom?
Yeah.
Let me make sure I know what actually I can just look at this. So what happened this past week? I don't know. Witness Gaming looked good in their game against Morning Light. But I think Witness Gaming may beat Global Clan, but I don't know. I think Global Clan has a better chance against maybe some of the other teams, but I think I'm going to flip Global Clan and Witness Gaming. I think they have shown that they can really compete. And not all my doubts have been answered, but I don't know. Global Clan just didn't have they had a rough week. They had to play Froyo and Corsia in one week on Sunshine, a more standard map. So I think this match could definitely flip flop, but I'm gonna say Witness Gaming are above them right now.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I feel like I might just keep my power ranking the same. I mean, Global Clan doesn't seem like they're gonna take anything less than last place, sadly. Witness Gaming, I think they have the favorites over Global Clan. Sin Karma, my boy, I can't put him last. I can never put him last. Even if he gets last in the very end, somehow I'm not going to put him last. And like third place, I think Wonderwall, like we said, has really good potential to improve throughout the season. If I were to do anything, I would switch Witness and Wonderwall if anything were to happen. But I'm keeping my 4, 5, and 6. What are you thinking about Wonderwall? Are you gonna move them around?
You know what? I think this is my ride or die team. Last season it was Ascent. This season my ride or die team is Wonderwall, moving up above Morning Light this last week. Like we talked about, Witness Gaming really was they got a couple rounds in this game, and maybe if something was a bit different, they had their starter, maybe Virgil, like you said, at a better game, they could be moved up. And Wonderwall, even though they didn't look great against Corsia, I think it's just a matchup nightmare for Morning Light.
I mean, this season they're getting their 3 picks on King of the Hill maps, and I think because even if you lose as much as you can when other teams pick King of the Hill, I think 5CP is like the core of 6s right now, and I think I don't think they can really give up third place against teams unless they do like a best of 3 on all King of the Hill, or at least 2 King of the Hill maps in playoffs. So I'm I'm still gonna say that Morning Light, especially with the Sandblast Psy combo that we saw this season, I think there's not really an equivalent in Wonderwall. You might say like Howard and Fruit maybe, but I don't think that they really have the potential or like the talent that Morning Light has. So I'm keeping my number 3 and 4. What do you think?
Oh, I definitely think Wonderwall is they're a group effort team. People will step up in certain games, but overall, I think everyone's gonna do their part in the end. Maybe if you look at the stats, no one's gonna have a terrible season, no one's gonna have a super good season,
Mm-hmm.
but I think everyone's gonna be really solid. They're gonna, like I said, I think their mids are solid. Their coordination has been good, at least in those clear-cut games that I've seen. I haven't watched every game this season, just I don't really have time, but the games I have seen, they have looked good, except for this last one. But I think that may have just been, a bit of an off night. But I think they definitely, like I said, they probably have the best map pool besides Froyo, and it's going to be really rough, even though it is regular season where Morning Light gets to pick a map and they get a ban 3 maps. I think it's still really rough where they're not going to really play into their own hands, where maybe they'll get a map they like, but a map that Wonderwall also likes. So I think it's going to be rough, and I gotta choose one team to root for. Otherwise, the season's not as fun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe disappointed, but I definitely think that. And with Corsia, it's a bit rough because I don't know when they're ever gonna play again, if they do. So, or if they get someone. But I think it's safe to say I'd leave those two there at the moment, especially because Corsia beat Wonderwall recently.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Wonderwall took maybe a map off of Morning Light or a few rounds, but I don't think in the long term that Morning Light's going to give up their positioning against Wonderwall. But coming into my second and third seeds, after what happened to Ash, do I mess with those two right now?
I think I don't think you'd be very wrong if you assumed that they may be a bit worse after, kind of having a weird 3-week suspension.
Yeah, if I were them, I would just bite the bullet, cut Ash, get somebody new, play the season as they want. I don't know.
There's
Somebody
like no
steal from one of the lower teams rosters.
Cut Ash now. Move Alex to Soldier. Take Sin Karma alt demo.
Yes.
It's done.
But
move them up.
I think they're not gonna really recover from Ash's boo boo. I think if they play without him, they're fucked. If they wait a month to play their next match, they're fucked. So I think
it's a lose-lose is what you're saying.
It is. I think they had a glorious start to the season, but I think it's falling from here. I think I'm gonna move Morning Light up. I'm
All right.
second place Morning Light. Let's do that. I wasn't planning to move anybody around, but with what's been happening lately, I'm moving. I think Morning Light second place. I want to see that happen.
So I've picked my team for the season. Who is your team for the season that you're backing? Who?
I'm with Morning Light this season. I think.
Light? All
yes,
right.
that size Sandblast combo. They're
Okay.
my favorite this season. But other than that, I think them Witness Gaming. Sin Karma can't let them down. I started it. I can't end it. But I think Morning Light is growing in my heart. But I think that's all I'm gonna mess with mine. I'm not gonna move Froyo Tech because Froyo Tech.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to. Nothing has really happened.
Yeah.
But I think we got one question that has been written down on the document from JWB. What are your thoughts on coaches in TF2 compared to other esports, like past examples, and also where do you think they could potentially fit in? How important could they be, etc. Do you have any opinions on this part?
I mean, we saw what coaches really did with Seven, and it didn't really make a difference, I don't think.
To be fair, at I think I-58, it was a really close finals, And from what I know, I like correct me if I'm wrong, someone in chat. The coaches could actually talk in real time in the mumble.
I
So
thought it was only like
Cadis
during pauses.
Cadis could call while not
Hmm.
playing.
But
They
does
just had a
that
special HUD where he only could see his team.
does that with that call? I feel like it would clutter comms even more.
Well, the thing is, from what I know, a lot of it was so Cadis is a good caller, but maybe he's not as good as Spud was
Yeah.
at that time. So what they did is they got rid of maybe a lesser player who had a hand injury, with the RSI something.
Yeah. Or
His hands
Yeah.
messed up, so he didn't have to play, and he gets to call. And how what I know from that team, from the few scrims I maybe watch, is it's a lot more quiet than a lot of NA teams where it's just constant.
Hmm.
Everyone's talking back and forth. It's a lot more, uh, you know, quiet, more reserved. People talk when they need to. And Cadis can talk whenever he wants. If he sees something, and he sees it in real time from anybody on his team's perspective.
Yeah.
So, but that's not usually how coaches work, though. In sports, in esports, a lot of times coaches can only talk during pauses, stuff like that, where
Hmm.
they're not going to be the seventh man in a game. They'll just be, the assistants who can help. And I think coaches, the main problem with TF2 is there's not money, so there's no reason to really coach and put
Yeah.
time into watching demos, doing all your homework and stuff like that. So it's a bit rough, but hypothetically, if there were coaches, I think it definitely could make a difference. Maybe not as much in a game like CS where there's a lot more, you can plan things. Before a round,
Hmm.
you kind of have the same starting point every single round where you can work with. Where TF2, there's thousands of different scenarios you can work with, and then the other team would do a bunch of different things. But it's kind of rough to really game plan in the moment rather than go on the fly. But I think definitely a coach at halftime where maybe your team is having a rough time and your coach just sees, or someone from a outside perspective sees something like, "Ooh, why are you doing that?" Like, for example, in the Corsia match versus Wonderwall, maybe if a coach came in and said Wonderwall, like, "What are you guys doing? Well, just do what you did before. You're playing a bit different. Be aggro. Don't let the other team get comfortable. Play your game. Keep it stuff like that to really keep your mental in. Things that you're not generally thinking of, and maybe demo reviews, team reviews, stuff like that. I think it definitely could help, but it's probably not going to happen because what's the benefit for a coach to coach, put a bunch of time in?
Yeah. I mean, if you were to be a coach, why not just play? Like you said, unless you have like a hand injury and you like physically can't play, I don't think that in the real world it's not going to happen. But if TF2 were an actual esport like other games like CS:GO, like you mentioned, I think that an extra perspective isn't going to hurt. It if like you said, you can just like spot everybody's point of view, and you can gain like a general idea of what's happening. It's definitely gonna help a lot more than players just knowing their own point of view, not really knowing what's going on. Like the coach can switch between like flank. He can kind of formulate the plan from there. Knowing that flank needs to do X while they're actually doing Y. Um, in practicality, it's not going to work, but in a perfect utopia, yes, it would. That's my answer. That's what I think.
All right, I think that's all we got for this week. So unless you got something else to say, I think we're planning on. I don't know matches you're planning on casting, but I'm planning on casting the Wonderwall Morning Light game and maybe the Witness Global Clan game if I have time.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to when those are going to be.
So tomorrow we're going to be casting Highlander Candy versus Momentum Mori. After that, we're going to be casting Fro versus Wonderwall. On Tuesday, we're going to be casting Witness versus Global Clan. On Thursday, we're going to be casting Morning Light versus Wonderwall. This is all provided they don't reschedule or anything like that.
There's a big asterisk on these scheduling.
Yes,
So,
as always, like with the Corsia Froyo, I think rescheduled it like once, so we got baited like twice.
that
And
is just in
then-
purgatory.
Yeah, and then we had like a triple header that night. I think like 2 of the 3 matches weren't actually played, so we had to like pick other matches like last minute. But if those matches happen, that's what we're going to be casting this week. But any shout outs that you want to do before you can head off to your finals viewing?
I'll have to actually do a map review because I
Oh,
promise
yes.
to every week. So
Okay.
I'm gonna rush that 30 minutes or something. But you know, I don't know. Shout out to Wonderwall. Low guy better not let me down. Season number 2. No pressure. I was ride or dying, and I got messed up.
Yeah. Shout out to Morning Light, my team. Shout out to the viewers, of course. As always, we could not do this without you. Shout out to Marmalou for sticking around between each season 1 to season 2. Shout out to Sandblast for his contribution to helping establish this podcast in the first season. And yeah, I think that's it from me. If you want to have any closing words for this episode.
No, just like I said, stay tuned. Match times are always they always tend to change, so keep on your toes. I don't know where you guys exactly post where you're scheduling it, so
Discord usually, but that's when we confirm when the teams are playing. But yeah, but you can pretty much always know that we're casting a game on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. But we announce it, I think the day of, because shit happens and teams like to reschedule without telling us. So anything else? But other than that, I think you can close it off. I'm not good at closing off. I'm not used to podcasts yet, so I'll let the expert do his work.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, like I said, for the cast. We're gonna be back next week, and I think we're gonna do player power rankings. Maybe if we skip that, we'll do some other little segment, maybe a mid-season thing. But you'll have to see. And yeah, like I said, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Have a good night.